Hey, welcome to video 8 on hand independence, the intersection of Taiko and Western drumming. So I have done a series of these videos. This is the 8th one. This particular video, really all I'm going to talk about is the idea of dividing yourself in half, right? Left hand, right hand, right? Very typical Western drumming technique of hand independence. And one hand's going to play the G Uchi part, as it's called in Taiko. The other hand is going to play, what they would call the O Uchi part, or the Taiko part. And what I want to focus on with this video is the idea of playing the swing G with one hand and downbeats versus offbeats with the other hand. Okay, so I've mentioned this before, that one of the things that I always try to do when I'm trying to decode rhythms, so I like to play just a basic pattern and accent the beats that I'm trying to sort out in terms of phrasing. And so in this case, the beats I would hit on my Taiko hand, right? So let's start with the downbeat. Now I'm not going to do a swing beat, I'm just going to do a straight G, quote unquote, just a straight take it, right? So if you accent the downbeats, they're all on the right hand if you're right-handed, okay? So if I'm accenting downbeats, right, something along the lines of So going back to my concept of dividing yourself in half, if I have to flam the downbeat, right, to play both parts at the same time. So left hand's G, right hand's going to play the Taiko. Okay. All right, so those are all downbeats. The offbeat would be if I'm just playing take a straight pattern, the left, right? Right? Okay, so, I've mentioned this before in my other videos. Go back and take a look at the previous videos if you're trying to figure out my method here. But anyway, starting with the accent, feeling that beat, putting it on the flam, right? And keeping the G with one hand, flamming the beat the Taiko player would be playing with the other hand. Okay. What is more difficult and technically challenging is what we refer to in Taiko as the swing G, right? This rhythm. On the Taiko, they usually say donko, 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 right, if you're playing on the Taiko, right? Swing feel, right, like jazz. If you're accenting the downbeats, right, if I'm playing the swing G, right, and the Kuchishiwa is donko, 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 right? Anytime I'm accenting, it's a dong, right? Donko. Downbeat, right hand, right? Okay. Offbeats are the left. Okay, so on the swing, what's more challenging is to keep the swing in as you hit the left offbeat accent. Okay. What are you trying to do there? The flam is not on the first beat of the swing. It's not on the, it's on the second beat, right? So if I'm just going to play that with my left hand and accent the offbeat, I'm accenting the second beat of the pattern. Right? If I accent the first beat, okay, those are the downbeats, right? So, as I've mentioned before, you have to feel this within yourself in order to be able to divide the two parts and then put the flam on the appropriate beat so that you're basically becoming two people. Taiko, right hand, G, left hand, or flip it, G, right hand, Taiko, left hand. Doesn't matter which way you do it. In fact, you should do it both ways, right? So that's what's tricky about this, right? So one thing you can do is you can try playing a pattern with both hands, right? The normal way you would play it with an accent, and then see if you can transfer that onto the taiko. So let's go back to the downbeat. Ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 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 Okay? So if you can do that, you can get the same feeling that you get with playing it, straight sticking with your right and your left hand, right, and then put that flam down on the accent, you got it, right? If you're putting the offbeat accent in, that's your test, right? Try it. Right, left, right, left, right, left. The accent. See if you can move it over to the one hand, continuing the G. In this case, I'm using my left. Put that accent as a flam on the other hand, your right hand, the taiko hand, right? See if you can keep that feeling going. Then you can successfully play the downbeat and the offbeat, with this technique. One hand G, the other hand taiko, right? So what's the value of this? The value of this is you definitely can improve your playing, and it's, swing G is harder, as mentioned before. But you can definitely improve your playing, you can definitely improve your phrasing, and you can make it sound more swingy if you can move from the downbeat to the offbeat, right? Just staying on downbeats. Okay. So you notice I went back and forth and back and forth. That's definitely going to jazz up your playing, get more syncopated, sounds swingier, right? So what you have to focus on is tracking the donko, donko, donko with one hand, don being the downbeat, ko being the offbeat. Donko, 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 donko. Okay, you got to track that. At the same time, you have to, say to yourself, okay, where do I want to put the taiko part? Do I want to put it on a downbeat, on the don, or on the offbeat, on the ko, right? And then as you're tracking that the left hand within your mind, you have to be tracking the right hand as to where you're going to put the taiko beat. And you got to be very, confident about putting that on the offbeat, putting that on the downbeat, moving it back and forth, right, without interrupting the flow of the G, which is your other hand. Okay. All right, so there you go. That's video 8. This one, take it slow. I always tell people when they're learning something new, don't try to play too fast when you start out. Take it slow. If you want to slow the tempo down, that's perfectly fine. Tempo has nothing to do with succeeding in accomplishing this, right? Once you can play it without disrupting the timing, keeping steady, that's when you want to speed up. Right, but get it down slow, get it down solid before you go and speed anything up. But once you get this down and you can speed it up, You know, like I said, this whole concept of dividing yourself into 2 players, you can really take off and have a lot of fun with it and make it swing. Alright, video 8. Have fun.